Hi, everyone. I hope you're having a good day. Have you ever been with your partner, maybe at dinner with some friends, and suddenly one of you says something that makes the other one think, "Did you really just say that out loud?" We've all been there. And today we're going to go deep into episode 3. What about those public interactions? We'll be taking an honest and thoughtful look at how men and women relate to each other in the public versus home. So, all right, let's get into it. Number one is the public versus the home partnership. We all have two versions of ourselves, the at home version and the out in public version. The home version can be quieter, more relaxed. Individual space is given to each other in home life, becomes dependent on each other's to manage the home together. When tensions get high at home, you have the privacy to vent. And eventually you talk through those tensions. But once out in public, though, couples can suddenly be charming, polite, and funny. We've all been there. Public moments bring out our best and sometimes our worst moments together. When we're around others, we start performing to shape how our relationship looks when out in public with friends. We're going to start with what can go wrong in public, and we'll sprinkle in what can go right throughout. And then while you're here, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button. It really helps. YouTube works in a strange way, and without those like buttons or subscribes, your videos go nowhere. So help me out there and tap that little notification bell. That way you'll know when episode 4 drops. Are men really listening? So in public, men might want to be seen as confident, easygoing, funny, and women, they want to be supportive and poised and kind. But the truth, both partners are just hoping not to say the one thing that'll get them that look later. So that brings us to number 2, the teasing. Let's talk about humor. Partners know that laughter can be the glue or the crack in a relationship. A little playful teasing between partners can be adorable. It shows comfort and familiarity. But there's a fine line between teasing with love and teasing to wound. We've all seen it. The couple who starts with jokes and it ends with embarrassment. It starts with, commenting on their clothes, their eating habits, or their choices in front of others, such as, do you really want to eat that? Or, you just can't seem to keep a shirt clean no matter where we go, can you? We all know that when that one partner starts to stare down at the ground and moves a little awkwardly, oh, they would love to say something witty at that time. But they know that it's only going to cause a scene with their partner, and so they take the jokes at their expense. If you're making the punchline or using their quirks, weights, habit, or past mistakes in public, what was supposed to be funny turns awkward, and suddenly everyone at the table is looking down at their food. Couples show visible frustrations like eye rolls, or sighs or smirks or, dismissive gestures, and they're small. In comparison, they're small, but they still show disrespect. Comparing a partner to other people, or treating the other partner like a child, so stop, quit fidgeting. It's embarrassing. If you're flirting with other people, what it does is it sends a message to your partner that they're not enough. And it could be innocent flirting, but it doesn't look good. Ignoring or excluding your partner in a group setting by, talking to other people or leaving them out of the conversation or blocking them from being a part of the conversation. That's going to make your partner feel invisible. And sometimes a disagreement, it can be normal out in public, but escalating it with raised voices, pointing fingers, or walking away dramatically, that becomes instant public entertainment at your expense. So making your partner explain themselves or justify themselves in public, tell them why they're late. Go ahead, tell them. That puts your partner on the spot and it gives them a feeling of being shamed. Belittling by mocking their interest or their intelligence, he or she just never gets this stuff, creates emotional wounds. The couple that uses humor to lift up a partner and doesn't knock them down, that's what works best in public. A good laugh should make everyone smile, including the person you're talking about. And if it doesn't, well, then the humor turns to humiliation with the punchline. Respect in public is powerful. When your partner knows you won't throw them under the bus for a laugh, trust grows. And trust, believe it or not, and I know you do, is the most binding thing in a relationship. And number 3 is small gestures. Let's talk about the quiet things, the gestures that say we're a team. When a man calls a waiter over or gets up to go grab drinks and he knows what her favorite drink is, his intent is to show thoughtfulness. It allows him to show care for his partner. He's paying attention in the moment, taking initiative, and basically being her hero. Women always notice these gestures and definitely appreciate the effort and the care. At the same time, women show respect by introducing their partner, warmly, laughing at their stories and making them feel included. Those moments may seem like nothing, but they tell the public that their partner matters to them. And number 4, the silent competition. Now here's the tricky part. That quiet, unspoken competition that sneaks into a relationship, and it does. Who gets more attention? Who tells the better story? Who gets the laugh? Who is right? Who's smarter? Who wins the argument? All the competitiveness that goes on out in public. And so why is that? Often it surfaces in couples that they haven't figured out how to balance that decision-making skills, the leadership roles, and their emotional space, causing an imbalance in their relationship power. Ego does have a part in this competition imbalance, and sometimes it's just when partners need to be good or bad getting attention. This doesn't mean that they dislike each other, however. Men and women, they just have different perspectives. Men don't feel the need to be so detail-oriented. And women, they tend to embellish or exaggerate the imbalance as a weakness in men. One partner may think teasing is bonding, and the other might feel attacked. This competitive teasing, it's sort of a way of scoring points with the crowd, appearing clever or asserting dominance socially. Public spaces will amplify this competition. When a man commands a room, it's impressive. When a woman does it, sometimes he feels overshadowed. And sometimes when a woman shines, she worries she's making him feel small. But what if it wasn't a competition? What if admiration went both ways? Imagine a couple who cheers for each other in public the same way they would cheer for their family and their friends. When one talks, the other listens, nodding along, smiling, or adding just a little detail without taking over the story, like helping the other partner remember something. Isn't that when your sister fell in the water? And then laughing together, it allows them to continue the story. Instead of correcting them, laugh. When one succeeds, the other, beams with pride. That's partnership power. And number 5 is the blame game. Here's one that every couple knows well. My partner did it. When something goes wrong, like picking up the wrong part at, say, Home Depot, or being late, and suddenly it's, well, he was supposed to take care of all of that, or she took forever to get ready. And you're just standing there thinking, really? We're doing this now? Those little blame games sting. They also make everyone uncomfortable, but they also chip away at unity. Correcting or talking over each other, one partner interrupting to fix the other person's story or the story details or the pronunciation of something, or jumping in to answer questions meant for their partner, or they dismiss the partner's opinion completely. Nah, that's not what happened. It's distracting and it's belittling to the partner, even if that intention is meant to be good. So instead of showing the we, they show me versus you. So next time something goes wrong in public, try saying, hey, sorry we're late, or, we forgot to check the time. It's amazing how much softer that sounds, and that does sound softer, and how much calmer the rest of the evening will be. And number 6, love shown in public. Being respectful in public is remembering you're on the same team. When a woman reaches over and she brushes something off his shirt, or when he pulls the chair out for her, those habits are signs of care. And in care, when shown in public, it reinforces their connection. It tells your friends and family, hey, we're not perfect, but we got this. And my closing thoughts on this, continue learning to be more aware of each other out in public, to act respectful of what your partner feels. Love at home is more silent. It's a wink, it's a smile, a nod of the head. Out in public, it's louder. It's an arm around the shoulder, a kiss on the cheek, laughing at a funny story. Show respect whenever your partner is talking. Don't interrupt. Allow equal sharing of stories and respect for each other. Allow laughter to lift your partner. Use gentle gestures to show your friends you care about each other's feelings. Remember to admire your partner for their strengths, and keep in mind that the competition shows the cracks and the insecurities in your relationship. Also remember that men and women don't think the same. I think many women who say, we're so in sync, we think the same way. You may have similar ideas and you may like the same things, but you don't think the same way. Men and women do not think the same way. Women are taught to make things easier for him, and he's taught to protect a woman. It's like a dance, you have to coordinate those moves in order to learn together. So I hope this topic on public interactions gave you insight on what others see when certain behaviors come out in partners, and how respect in public can really go a long way in love and trust in each other. So thank you so much for hanging in there and watching this. If you're new, thank you for showing up. If you've been around, I really appreciate you being here. So next time on So Curious, we're going to talk a little bit about closed door habits. In episode 4, what about, is he even listening to me? And until the next one, bye.